been here since I got to the troop. I actually knew him a little bit in the pack. 27. And then finally, the leader that I've known the longest, he's been at most of my major events, Chris Lonnie. All right, something else I need to present. My grandmother, they have grandparent pins. So I'd like to email them. All right. So you bestow some words of wisdom on us. All right. So first of all, I'd like to thank everybody that took the time to come out today. I know a lot of y'all are very busy. Some people have traveled far for this, so I really appreciate everybody doing this. First of all, there are a lot of people that I need to thank for getting me to this point, because I absolutely could not have done this by myself. First of all, I'd like to thank the church. I don't think anybody from the church, Tina, Chris, we've used the church since I got in the troop. They've facilitated multiple events. They're facilitating this right now. So we'd like to thank the church. All the adults, not only the scoutmasters, assistant scoutmasters, you guys are greatly appreciated. Thank you for everything you've done. But the parents of all the scouts here, without the other scouts with me, I would not have had a very fun time in scouting. So many parents of scouts, thank you all for that. To my parents, thank you guys for supporting me along the way. Could not have done any of it without you. The many, many late nights to scouts and summer camps and all that. I really appreciate it. Obviously my family that is here, families, everything, all of them. Appreciate you guys' support. And then finally, fellow scouts. Like I said, scouting would not have been anything without the fellow scouts. So Noah, Carter, especially with MLT. MLT has been a huge part of my scouting career. All the boys in the back, Gabriel Collins, Lucas, Chet, the man. These individuals, the scouts themselves, made scouts really worthwhile to me, and made it an enjoyable experience, which is something I feel maybe lost in. So I'd like to talk a little bit about scouting, what it's done for me, and how that would be used in the future. So I joined scouting to try and get away from Cub Scouting, even though it was the natural progression. I was not a fan of Cub Scouts. There's a lot of arts and crafts, running around that I did not enjoy. I thought Boy Scouts was going to be like what it was. A lot of the lessons I learned, especially in the early years of my troop experience, like learning from the older boys, starting fires, basic scout skills, first aid, a lot of that has been used later in my life. So all those skills that I learned at the very beginning, the basic skills, they come up a lot. And when you learn those really well, it sets you up to learn more advanced things later. So I really appreciate all the older scouts for teaching me that and giving me those opportunities. More things I've done with scouts would be more of the high adventure side. So I have to thank Steve Goddard, Chris Ward, thank you guys for getting me introduced to that. Giving me the opportunity when I was really young to go on some of these. I turned 14 at Philmont. I wasn't supposed to be at some of the prep hikes with the first class rule, but we made it work. So thank you guys for giving me the opportunity for high adventure. High adventure is what I thought scouts should have been. So high adventure, for examples such as Philmont, a place in New Mexico where we get to go out and hike for 12 days straight, living out of our backpacks. I've had the great fortune to do that 3 times, which is pretty rare. So thank you to everybody who's made that possibility, making that possible for me. So, because that is huge. Another thing we've done with the troop, we've done a lot of water-based activities like Sable. Steve Goddard put that on. That is a great trip, an absolute great first high adventure trip. Learned a lot of great lessons on that, especially about working in the water. As far as that's the first time I ever kayaked or canoed a long distance, like not at Camp McKee. So that was a great experience. And then Sea Base. Everybody who went to Sea Base, that was a very fun trip. We learned a lot about each other on that one. But along all of those, I've learned a lot of great skills. I've learned some leadership. I've learned how to be a follower. Being a follower is a huge part of leadership because if you don't know how to follow, you don't know how to lead. So I've learned a lot of great leadership lessons. Obviously, hard skills for scout skills like building fires, totemship, things of that nature. And then finally, it's taught me how to be a better part of the community. So early in your scout career, you are forced to outreach in the community. You have to go to board meetings, you have to talk to local officials. All that stuff is required. So doing that at a young age helped push me to become more of a part of my community and helped break me out of sort of not being able to talk to people. I mean, I've always been okay at talking to people, but talking to strangers, developing relationships, that was largely influenced and developed by the people here for Scouts. So that's a great skill that I'll continue to learn and continue to grow on. So part of this Eagle Scout process is a project. I'd like to quickly thank the two donors that we have here, Brian Gilbert, Chief Tommy. Huge support in your donation of materials, money. I don't have a representative from the city here, but the city matched me on my payments, so I appreciate them greatly for that. The project had a lot of ups and downs. It took quite a while, which is fine, but we got it done. I appreciate everybody who came out and helped. Gabriel, Colin, Brian, everybody that helped. Trey, you were a huge part of that. Thank you for everything you've done for our project, because it would not have happened without you. So I appreciate you for that. And finally, the lessons I've learned in Scouts do not strictly apply to Scouts. So anybody that will be up here soon is getting their Eagle Scout or is just going through Scouting right now, remember that these lessons that you learn in Scouts, whether they're fire building or more of the leadership side, as far as being a leader, learning, conflict resolution, things such as that, those can and should be used in every part of your life. So take the lessons you've learned in Scouts and apply them in life, and you will be served well with those skills. All right. Once again, thank you all for coming out. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate your time. So that's all I have. Thank you. With Brian Gilbert, please.
One thing that we always do is we go through and read letters of recommendation, commendation, congratulations, basically praising, in this case, Danny, for his accomplishment and earning Eagle Scout. One of the best ones that I've ever heard, I first heard when the first Court of Honor for Eagle I came to when Chris Ward was running it. And I think it's appropriate. And if you all haven't heard it before, you're in for a treat. If you have heard it before, just enjoy. So this comes from Mike Rowe. As everybody know Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs. He's quite the character and quite the individual and quite the human being. So basically we lead off, Dear Danny, back in 1977, I got a letter from the President of the United States congratulating me on becoming an Eagle Scout. The letter was printed on thick, creamy paper with my name typed in at the top and Gerald Ford's signature at the bottom right next to the presidential seal. Very impressive. However, as I studied the president's signature and compared it to those on the bottom of identical letters he had sent to other Eagle Scouts in our troop, I came to the conclusion that I was not holding a personal letter from the President of the United States. I was holding a form letter. Don't get me wrong, Danny. It was a nice gesture, and I appreciated the sentiment. But I decided then and there that if I ever found myself in the position of sending out thousands of letters to Eagle Scouts everywhere, I wouldn't try to fool the recipient into thinking they had received something uniquely personal. After all, Danny, a scout is trustworthy. Whether the scout goes on to become president of the United States or a host of a show on cable television, which is why I want to be absolutely clear about the nature of this letter. While I did in fact write every word, I did not write it specifically for you. The truth is, Danny, it was your scoutmaster who wrote your name in the blanks, and it is your family who is deeply proud of what you've accomplished this day, as they should be. The Eagle Award is still a big deal, and congratulations are most definitely in order. However, the only message I can offer a young scout I've never actually met is the same advice I received from my dad moments after I received this same honor. Don't get cocky. Contrary to what many have told you, Danny, this award will not change the way people look at you. I'm sorry, but it's true. We now live in a world where everyone seems to get some sort of trophy, and the majority of Americans simply have no idea how difficult or special your accomplishment truly is. But that's not a fact worth bemoaning, because the truth is, the Eagle Award comes with no magic power or influence. It's simply a recognition of what you've accomplished so far. And while it's true that many Eagle Scouts have gone on to do great things in life, it's also true that many others have not. I know a guy who got his Eagle a couple years before me. His chest literally puffed up and never returned to its normal size. His dad got him into a decent school, and when he finally graduated, he showed off his diploma like it was his first merit badge. Today, he is a miserable, pompous, pain in the butt with no friends, 2 ex-wives, and a job he hates. He still has a collegiate football trophy on his mantle next to his diploma and an identical copy of that same form letter from Gerald Ford congratulating him for something he did 35 years ago. Do me a favor, Danny. Don't be that person. Don't wait for the world to acknowledge your accomplishments. When you're finished scouting, donate your uniform to the Salvation Army. In a few years, it's not going to fit anyway. Fold up your sash and stow it away somewhere private, along with the other tokens of what you've done so far. Then roll up your sleeves, get out in the world, and put what you've learned to use. Live the Scout law, remember the Scout oath, and remember, a Scout is clean but not afraid to get dirty. Signed, Mike Rowe. The signature, though photocopied, is actually mine. That was one of the first time I heard it. It was very powerful. It's not to take away anything of this moment, but don't let it define you. Keep pushing forward. You've accomplished one great feat. Look ahead and move to the next one. And I wish you all the best of luck and congratulations.
All right, as our ceremony has come to close, we ask the color guard to reform and retire the flag.
We're not done.
Okay.
We need a few minutes. Color guard, you can sit back down. We have an extra gift that Troop 180 likes to do, commemorating a Scout earning Eagle. This is a case knife. rotation box. Be prepared, it's a Scout case knife that says Boy Scouts of America engraved on it. Back sides of the blade, what does it say? No, it does not say holy.
It says Troop 180 Eagle, 5, 12, 25, and then Danny Rogers. Samsung.
You know, a good joke when he sees it.
Thank you.
So that is a, I'll put it back so you can better for me. For me. Put that in there. Something to commemorate.
Yeah.
So one of the things Danny loves to do is when we are traveling to different places, either throughout camps, hiking camps, trails, wherever, he noticed that Chris Ward likes to label his personal equipment with a little sticker that says property of Chris Ward, so people don't steal it. Danny, at one point in time, had a bunch of those stickers made up himself and proceeded to place them on anything and everything he could get his hands on. In case anybody is wondering, there is a property of Chris Ward sticker on the outside of the case. I believe there are property of Chris Ward stickers on shelters on the AT Trail. I believe on one of
Philmont
the
Dining Hall.
Philmont Dining Hall. There may even be some on the Red Roof Inns and outhouses. Okay. So,
Numerous places on the key. I can't even count them.
chances are very good at some time in your life you may come across a property of Chris Ward sticker. It may or may not be the property of Chris Ward. I will leave this up here with your Eagle kit. We have one more that we want to do right now. Sure. Chad, would you join us up on the podium for a moment?
So when Chet made Eagle, the troop also had a knife for him. The problem was, these knives were on back there, and it's different than Danny's, because Case no longer makes this one. Do you remember the day of your Eagle board, Chet? I will put you on the spot, 9/18/2021. So what I'd like to do now is present Chet with this knife that I've carried around for a long time, trying to catch him, and he shows up and doesn't let me know he's coming, and I don't have his knife. So I knew he was going to be here today. Although, about 10:20, I asked Danny, "Have you heard from Chet?" Not a word. And I'm like, "He's not for sure." Congratulations, Chet.
With that, if you'd like to close out that. Anybody else have anything else, surprise, anything before Danny and Chet bring it to a wrap? No, it's open mic.
As our ceremony has come to a close, we ask for our color guard to reform to retire the flags.
Color guard, attention. Will the audience please rise? Color guard, forward march. Color guard, halt. Color guard, prepare to retrieve the colors. Retrieve the colors, scout hand salute. 2. Color guard reform. Color guard return to post. Color guard dismissed. You may be seated.